So, chemical method of ground modification. In chemical method of ground modification, we have already seen regarding cement stabilization method as well as lime stabilization method. In cement stabilization method, what did we do? We have mixed sand with cement, and we'll try to apply water with during combining, and then because of hydration of cement molecules, what is happening is the soil mass is gaining its strength. In lime stabilization, what did we see? We have seen when lime is added, there are 2 or 3 processes in which the stabilization takes place. One is cation exchange method, the next one flocculation, and the aggregation. Of all the 3 also, we have checked that cation exchange is mainly the important thing, because when the cation exchange is taking place, more amount of heat is liberated. When the amount of heat is liberated and there is formation of hydrates of silicon and aluminum, you have got good amount of strength to the soil. So in all these processes, we were adding lime as well as we were adding cement, so that there is some liberation of heat. When this liberation of heat is taking place, it is trying to compress the molecules of sand nearby that. So that was the main idea of doing lime stabilization or chemical stabilization or cement stabilization. Now today in this particular chapter, we'll be just checking about grouting. See, what is in grouting is, generally you people might have observed that whenever there are some cracks, air cracks, or some cracks that are on the building, what do? We generally don't want, we'll just check sometimes by adding mortar and then check. If at all, if we find that the crack is deep inside, then what do? We'll just try to inject a material of mortar and then try to stabilize it. So now today in this particular class, how stabilization of that particular technique can be used in stabilization of ground, we'll just check in this particular chapter. So here the chapter is stabilization of ground with grouting technique. So let us check into this particular topic. So let us define first grouting. It is defined as the process of injecting suitable fluid under pressure into the subsurface soil or rock to fill voids, cracks and fissures for the purpose of improving the soil. The fluid may be colloidal solutions, cement suspensions or chemical solutions, etc. So here what is that we are defining grouting? You are injecting, the word itself, injecting means with pressure you are sending some element. How should the element be? The element should try to form bond with the ground particles. Yes. So here where are you sending these where are you inducing this suitable fluid? You are inducing it into the voids or cracks or fissures. So wherever there is void or wherever there is a crack or wherever there is a fissure plane, it means that those places are weak planes. If at all, if you are doing any constructions over those places, you can expect the construction to fail. So first what is that we are doing? We are filling this particular voids, cracks, fissures with some suitable fluid. This suitable fluid is nothing but a cement suspension or chemical substance or any colloidal solution. Only thing is, depending upon the ground condition, it should try to combine with the ground and then form a mass which is capable of taking in the particular load or pressures that are being induced on them. So that particular element should be induced into your injecting surface, should be injected through your grouting process. So that is what is grouting. So here he defines grouting as process of injecting suitable fluid under pressure. The name itself, grout, means some element which is in a colloidal state that should be injected with pressure. So that is your grouting process. So what are the applications of grouting? We know that now grouting is a process of injecting a colloidal mass into your fissured plane. So where do you apply this grouting? As in the initially, while I was giving introduction here to grouting, I was telling you that this grouting process is very much used whenever you have a deep crack in walls or in the slabs. So now let us see where all you can apply this grouting. Not only for improving the soil condition, we can even use this in many of the places, not only in the brick masonry, not only in the RCC roofing and all. Let us see what are the different things. Producing mass concrete structure and piles. So where do we use this grouting? We use this grouting in producing mass concrete structures as well as piles. Fixing ground anchors for sheet pile walls, concrete pile walls, retaining walls, tunnels, etc. Repairing a ground underneath a formation or cracks. Defects on building masonry or pavement. Fixing the tendons in pre-stressed post-tensioned concrete. Filling the void between the lining and rock face in tunnel works. Seepage control in soil. Soil stabilization and solidification and vibration control. These are all the various places we apply grouting. Mainly in our day-to-day life, not only in improving the soil condition, even in improving the brick masonry condition wherein we have deep cracks, so we will be using this grouting techniques. Apart from that, where we have this grouting technique is wherever there is heavy masonry structures, those heavy masonry structures can be repaired using grouting technique. Not only in that, even in the next thing where we have is mass concrete structures and piles. Over there we use this application of grouting. So these are the main uses of grouting. So we now know that grouting technique is being applied for mass concrete structures, for piles, next for repairing your brick masonry or deep cracks in the masonry walls and slabs, and also we are applying this grouting technique in order to modify your soil condition. Now what are the various types of grouts? We have different types of grouts. One is suspension grout, solution grouts and colloidal solution grouts. So now let us see one by one in the next chapters or next coming slides what is a suspension grout, what is a solution grout, colloidal solution grout and all. See, the name itself indicates that grout is some colloidal mass or the mass injected with some pressure. When will the mass have more amount of pressure? When it is in a suspension state or when it is mixed with liquid. So depending upon the amount of liquid that is added to the grout mass, the states of grouts changes, like suspension, solution, colloidal solution, like that the name changes. So now let us see what type of grout is being used for what purpose. So the next what we have are suspension grouts. We said three types of grouts: suspension grouts, solution grouts, and then colloidal solution grouts. In suspension, first we'll see about suspension grouts. What are suspension grouts? These are multi-phase systems capable of forming subsystems after being subjected to natural sieving process with chemical properties which must ensure that they do not militate against controlled properties of setting and strength. So here what is this suspension grout? You are just having a natural sieving process, we are just trying to combine with some element, and that you are adding little amount of water and then you are trying to send that particular element, that particular chemical into this particular ground or into any particular element which whose properties you want to change. So here when you check, what do we find? We find that there is a chemical substance and you are adding that chemical substance with water. So here then what is happening? It is forming a suspension mode. When it is forming a suspension mode, what will happen? It will try to stick into that particular soil or particular element, cracks or fissures. So here he gives under controlled properties of what is that you are going to trying to alter, setting as well as strength. Both should be gained at a time. So here water in association with cement, lime, soil, etc. constitute suspensions. So what are suspensions? When you are taking cement or lime or soil, when you are combining that with water, that forms your suspensions. Emulsion, asphalt or bitumen with water is a two-phase system which is also included under suspension. So here when you are taking asphalt or bitumen also, it is also having water, but only thing over there is we have two-phase system when you are taking emulsions of asphalt and bitumen. But when you are taking cement or lime or soil in water, it is a single stage suspension element. So that is related to suspension grouts. The next one is solution grouts. What are solution grouts? These are intimate one-phase system retaining an originally designed chemical balance until completion of the relevant reactions. These can be silicate derivatives, lignosulfide derivatives, phenoplast resins, etc. These come under this category. So what are solution grouts? They are going to retain the solution until the total of the reaction completes. So generally what type of solutions will be needed or else will be used as solution grouts? Some silicate derivatives. See, what is the main thing in this is, whenever you are taking a grout, as and when the chemical reaction completes or when the setting time is going on increasing, it is becoming hardened. But whenever you take this solution grout, what will it be? Right from the initial phase until the total of the soil gains the total strength, it will be in the solution state itself. So these, how they are going to achieve? Using some silicate derivatives or lignosulfide derivatives or phenoplast resins. These come under the category of solution grouts. This is only one phase system which is going to retain its originally designed chemical balance until the completion of relevant reaction. It is not going to set, it is not going to become hard. It is just a total reaction should take place. Until the total reaction, whatever you have desired, is being achieved, until then it is not going to change its property. Such a things you are going to call them as solution grouts. So these are one type of grouts. Next category of grouts what we have is colloidal solution grouts. Colloidal solution grouts, these are solutions in which the solute is present in colloidal state, are known as colloidal solutions. So the solute particles, that is initially what did we take in suspension grouts, lime, cement or some chemical admixture or chemical additive, and in the solution grout until the total of the phase is completed, it is going to be in solution state right from the starting to the desired reactions completion. And when it comes to the colloidal solution grouts, what is it? Is in the colloidal state. So the colloidal, it will be just in a it is not suspended, you can see the particles very clearly in a colloidal state. Chemical grouts fall into this category. So all the chemical grouts whatever we have, all these falls under your colloidal solution grouts. So we have seen three types of grouts depending upon the state in which they are: suspension, suspension grout, colloidal grout, and solution grouts. The next thing what we have is types of grouting techniques. One is compaction grouting, compensation grouting, and jet grouting. So three types of grouts, three types of grouting. So let us see this different types of grouting: compaction grouting, compensation grouting, jet grouting, one after another. So compaction grouting. Compaction grouting is a single stage grouting which with high strength motor to the ground to create a grout bulb at the end of drill pipe. So what is that we have in compaction grouting? We have only a single stage grouting with which high strength motor is injected into the ground, and that it is going to form a grout bulb at the end of your drill pipes. That you are going to call it as compaction grouting. How this technique is being carried out, we'll see. Grouting mechanism. How do we carry out this particular grouting mechanism? A stiff grout with a very low slump is injected under relatively high pressure through pipes or casing into the soil. So what is that we are doing? You are having pipes. Through the pipes you are just sending this grout, the stiff grout, you are sending it with high pressure. When anything in the solid state or semi-solid state, when you are supplying some pressure, when you are applying a pressure and then you are trying to sell it, then it becomes a very much semi-solid and it can just pass through it. The grout exciting the bottom of the pipe forms a bulb shaped mass that increases in volume. So what is that happening? The grout, wherever it is going through the bulb, through the pipe, now after it just leaves that pipe, over there you will be having this formation of bulb. Here, as and when this is leaving this particular pipe, it goes on increasing the mass, and that total thing will be forming as a mass. So a bulb shaped mass is forming. Displacement of the soil is produced by the weight of the overburden pushing back against the expanding grout bulb. So what is that happening? You are just trying to, once you have injected this bulb, you are trying to remove this particular tubes. When you are removing those tubes or pipes, what will happen? There is some overburden pushing back, pressure that is causing against this bulb. So when it is causing, what will happen? All the molecules of soil that is getting nearer to this bulb grout, it will increase. So thus it densified the soft, loose or disturbed soil surrounding the mass. So that is how it is going to happen. So this process is your grouting process, compaction grouting process. So in compaction grouting, it can also be used to elevate settlement problem during the excavation of tunnel or deep basement, as a hardened bulb shaped grout will induce an increase in soil volume strain to the soil strata and causing heaving of ground at the ground surface. So where is that you are using? You are using this compaction grouting in order to elevate settlement problems, where in the excavation of tunnels as well as deep basements, because what is happening when a bulb shaped grouting is being created, it is increasing the soil volume and the strains are also increased because of this particular grout being injected into the soil. So and also it is causing heaving of ground at the ground surface. When applying the compaction grouting process, usually a stiff to plastic grout is injected into the soil under pressure. When you are using this compaction grouting process, how is that you are going to do? You are going to do a stiff or else a plastic grout. So always remember, when this particular grouting has to be done, a stiffened mass, mostly in very less amount of water is being added to the chemical, or else in a very semi-solid state you will try to inject this grout into the soil. because you are doing it with pressure. I said initially itself that when with pressure you are applying, this one can travel very smoothly. A semi-solid material will try to form a liquid type material. So for that reason, whenever you are applying compaction grouting, always remember in mind that a stiff to plastic grout is injected into the soil under pressure. It expands in the soil as a relatively homogeneous mass and at the same time is forming almost ball shaped grout bulbs. So what is happening? It is going to relatively increase. It is going to increase the size. The bulb is going to increase slowly. It is going to increase, and what is happening? It is forming a ball shaped grout bulbs inside. The soil surrounding the grout area is displaced, at the same time compacted. See, a foreign material, that is your grout ball, is being injected inside, means that much amount of soil is displaced. It means the densification of the soil is also happening. So here he gives, for the same reason, the soil surrounding the grouted area is displaced, and at the same time what is it being done? It is compacted. Both the processes are taking place simultaneously whenever you are taking grouting technique. And where this grouting technique? Compaction grouting technique. Next, in compaction grouting technique, compared to other grouting techniques, the grout material neither penetrates into the pores of the inside to soil, or is the case with the classical injection, nor are local cracks formed, as in case of soil fracture technique. During the compaction grouting process, pressure and grout quantity as well as possible deformations at ground surface respectively at structures are monitored. See, in compaction grouting technique, you are just creating a ball shape at the end of the tube or at the end of the pipe. So here, how is it you are going to penetrate? You are going to penetrate this particular soil bulb in the form of a mixture into, you are injecting that into the tubes or pipes. So here there are no chances of creation of some local cracks, or else this one neither penetrates, because you have got a tube or a pipe. That pipe itself, over the pipe itself, this particular grout mass can travel. You don't have any other facility wherein this grout will just escape from this pipe. So here, where is it you are going to eject? You are going to eject it into the place wherever, inject it into the place wherever you require. And also the pressure and the grout quantity, both you have already fixed, and the same amount you are going to send it. Because of this, ground deformations, whatever will be caused, also will be able to calculate, have an idea about all those when we are doing this particular technique. And depending upon how that particular soil behaves, you can monitor that particular type of soil. So that is the facility what we have in the compaction grouting. We can just imagine how much compaction will be done and what will be the rate of compaction, how much compaction will be facilitated because of this balls creation in the soil. So all that we are going to visualize it, and we are going to do it in this compaction grouting. So the next, this slide clearly indicates how your grout bulb is being created in the site. See, in the site now, what is that we have done? We have just taken a pipe and you are going to put some slurry or else put some grouting material into that particular pipe, and you are injecting that into the ground. When you are injecting it, you are seeing that the bulb is going to be formed. So the bulb, you can see it, and what is that being done? That bulb is going to displace the soil that is nearby it. So when this particular displacement of soil is taking place, what is happening? The densification of soil is increasing. With the densification of the soil increasing, what is going to happen? the required strength is being got, or this required setting of the ground is also taking place. So that is how this grout bulbs or compaction grouting technique is being carried down in the site. Since this bulb, in this bulb grouting, now what is happening, you are seeing that the grout is moving only through the pipe. It means that there are no chances of this grouting material traveling to any other place other than that particular required. So here that is the main advantage. So what are the applications of this compaction grouting? Where do we apply, in what cases, or for what type of soils this grouting technique, compaction grouting technique, is very much helpful? Let us see. The first one, the compaction grouting method may be used for the improvement of non-cohesive soils, especially in cases where the soils of loose to medium density are encountered. So where do you apply this compaction grouting? It is applied only mainly for non-cohesive soils. Where, in which type of non-cohesive soils? Especially in loose to medium density soils, this particular technique is being applied, or this particular technique is being used. After non-cohesive soils, where do we use it? This particular compaction grouting technique. Let us see the next one. This method is also used in fine-grained soils in order to install elements of higher strength and bearing capacity in soils of low bearing capacity, thus improving the load-bearing behavior of the soil. So what is the next thing we have? This is being used in places wherever you need higher strength, wherever you need to increase the bearing capacity of the soil, wherever you have load bearing capacity to be very less. In all those soils, we are going to use this particular compaction grouting. When using this technique in saturated clay soil, a temporary increase of pore water pressure can be observed. So here he gives, what is the next thing? If you are using this particular technique in the saturated clay soil, what will happen? Once you are sending some mass inside, whatever there is amount of water, that water has to be just removed up. So here the water will be, pore water pressure will be expelled out. So here this technique, whenever you are using it in saturated clay soil, always remember that there will be a temporary increase in pore water pressure. Next, in principle, the compaction grouting technique can achieve a similar degree of improvement as by the deep vibro techniques. So this compaction grouting, it is also achieving the same results that will be happening when you are using deep vibro techniques. What are deep vibro techniques? Do you remember what is deep vibro technique? You are sending some particular vibrations deep into the ground above your 20 meters. When you want to send this vibrations, special technique is being used using vibro machines, that you are going to call it as deep vibro techniques. So similarly, wherever in the similar fashion, how much of a strength you are going to gain in that deep vibro technique, similar degree of improvement you can see it in compaction grouting technique also. So these are the main applications of grouting. So let us see what are the still applications what we have in compaction grouting. Apart from those, what do we have? So in what type of soils are we applying? Non-cohesive soils. First one is non-cohesive soils. The next one is fine-grained soils, wherever you want maximum bearing capacity. Next one, when you want a higher strength, over there you are going to apply this compaction technique. Other than that, this particular compaction grouting technique is also used in other cases. What are those other cases? The compaction grouting method is particularly well suited as an alternative or supplement to deep vibro techniques in the following cases. What is the first one? Confined working space, limited working height, vibration free technique required, compaction at very large depths for intermittent strong soil layers which cannot be penetrated by a depth. Next, vibrator, thus making it use inefficient. So here, where is this you are going to use? First one is if you have a confined working space wherein you cannot use deep vibro techniques, over those places we can use compaction grouting. Not only that, in the next thing is whenever you have limited working height, in those places also we can use. Next, vibration free techniques are required because there are some materials or wherever you have different types of sensitive buildings nearby. Next, compaction at very large depths for intermittent strong soil layers. Next, we have wherein the vibrator usage is inefficient, in all those places this particular techniques are being used. So here with this will be ending our compaction grouting. We have one more slide related to compaction grouting, we'll just see. The next one is compensation grouting method. What is this compensation grouting method? The name itself indicates that you can have some stress relief or you can have some relief. What is that? Compensation grouting is a grout injection that can compensate for stress relief and associated ground settlement. So here this particular technique you are going to use it whenever you doesn't want more amount of stresses or ground settlements. In those places we can use this. So here he gives, it is a grout injection that can compensate for stress relief associated with ground settlement. Grout is injected through grout pipes which are usually TAM grout pipes under high pressure into the soil. So here whatever is the grouting technique, you are going to send these grouts with the help of pipes. How are these pipes? These pipes are TAM grout pipes which will be able to sustain the high pressures whatever you are going to use for injection of this grout. Fractures in soils are created which are then filled with grout. See, if at all if you find a very low intensity crack, what do? We'll try to make that large so that this grouting material can go inside and then form a bond. So here even in the soil condition, what is it we are doing? If you have a minor crack or whichever you have very low depth crack, you are going to increase that and then fill it with grout. The fractures filled with grout will follow the plane with the minor principal stresses and formed in layers. So these fractures wherever is there, they are going to get filled with this grout. And where are they forming? They are forming minor principal stress planes. The increase in volume will compact, disturb the soil surrounding the mass. It will compensate settlement caused by tunnel. Excavation works can be used to lift up settled structures. So here there are two conditions. What is that we are doing? We are injecting a pipe first. We are first sending a pipe, and through the pipe we are sending the grout. So in order to send the pipe, you need to create a bore. How do you create the bore? When the bore is created, naturally there is settlement or densification. After that again you are sending some mass. When you are sending this grout mass, what will happen? Total settlement of the surrounding soil will be taking place, densification takes place, compaction takes place. As a result, the strength is increased. Not only that, we are using some grout material by sending it. The grout material, what will it do? It will try to create a bond with the existing soil mass, and then it tries to enhance the property of bearing capacity, settlement, compaction. So overall there will be increase in strength of the soil. So that is what is happening in compensation grouting. So look at the picture in the site, how it is. Here you have got two pictures. One is giving you an idea about how this grouting is being done, or the compaction grouting is being done in the site. So what do we have? We have got first a TAM grout pipe, and this TAM grout pipe you are just first sending this grout pipe, and from there what is that, we have tried to make this particular cracks a little bigger, and then what did we do? We sent this grout into it. Because of sending this grout into this, what is happening? The soil is increasing the property of bearing capacity. So that you can see it in this particular thing. And the next, on the top thing, we have got the particle size and the pairing weight. So here it indicates application of limits for grouting processes, for what type of soils, to what extent you can apply. So here the black indicates uneconomical, and the yellow lines indicates you the favorable condition. So depending upon the particle size, depending upon the type of soil, we can just pair it with the amount of weight that has to be applied. So in using these processes, fractures in the soils are created, which are then filled with the grout. So always remember, whenever this grouting technique is being used, the main thing is you need to send this soil mass, or you need to send this grout mass into that particular element, whether it is soil or concrete or masonry or anything. So over there, first we'll check if at all this particular fissure or fracture is capable enough in order to take. If you find that it cannot take that much amount of mass, what do we do is we'll try to increase the width of the crack or depth of the crack, and then allow this mass to be filled. Each soil formation may be improved by multiple grouting treatments, and controlled lifting may be induced. So what is that? You can do multiple grouting processes, as well as you can do controlled lifting in this particular soil conditions. So thereby your soil formation is also improving its properties. This is regarding your compensation grouting. The next process what we have is jet grouting or soil crating. Depending on the nature of the soils, soil crate or cutoffs are able to reduce the coefficient of permeability by several decimal powers. High quality requirements in respect of the degree of sealing effect necessitate extensive production efforts. So here, what is the first thing you are doing? You have jet grouting. You are just sending it and removing it. That itself is called as short crating, we call it. We don't call it as soil crating, because since we are using a soil mass only, we are calling it as soil crating. If at all it is being done in concrete, you call it as short crating. So here in jet grouting technique, what do? We take very high pressured element, and then you'll just send this particular grout into it and then lock it. Just because of the pressure, it tries to form a bond. For many applications, both the strengthening and sealing characteristics of soil crate elements are used. See what is happening, whether you are taking compaction grouting, or else when we take compensation grouting, you are sending this grout through pipes. So whenever even though you are sending it with pressure, as and when it travels inside the soil, it is going to loosen, that pressure is going to decrease. But in jet grouting, what do? We are going to apply this grout in such a manner wherein strength is increasing, as well as sealing characteristics is also increasing. The selected suspensions need to be composited accordingly. So you are going to select the suspensions in such a manner which will be helpful for your grouting technique, jet grouting technique. That is, sealing as well as strengthening process both should happen simultaneously. So that is the main thing of your jet grouting. So soil creating is produced in three different ways. What are the three different ways? Single direct process, double direct process, and triple separation process. So here soil creating, we said soil creating, both strengthening as well as sealing action, both are taking place simultaneously. How are this going to be achieved? Using single direct process, double direct process, or triple separation process. What are these processes? We'll just see. The method to be used is determined according to the prevailing soil conditions, the geometrical form, and the required quality of soil crate elements. So here soil creating, it always depends upon the soil. Depending upon the soil condition, what is that we are going to do? We are just going to add an element so that both strengthening and sealing is taking place. So depending upon the geometrical form, depending upon the quality of soil creating, you are going to use this soil creating technology. So let us see how we do this. There are three different processes: single, double, as well as triple. So let us see what are these. So first let us see single direct process. It operates with a grout jet of minimum 100 meters per second exit velocity for simultaneous cutting and mixing of the soil without an edge ground. So what is that it is happening inside single direct process? You are just using a grout jet, and what is the speed? 100 meters per second is the speed of the jet grout that is coming out. Means, see, in the compaction as well as compensation, you have sent this with some pressure, but over here the velocity of grout, the speed with which it is traveling, is maintained. How much is it? Minimum 100 meters per second. While this 100 meters per second, when the grout is traveling, cutting is taking place as well as mixing of the soil is also taking place without any air bubbles created. This process is used for small to medium sized jet grout columns. So where do we use this? We use it for jet grout columns. So here we have a single grout jetting. What is that happening? You have a pipe in that, and you have got one more pipe. A small nozzle type is being fit. So into that nozzle type we are going to send this grout, and this grout is getting into the soil using your nozzle. When the nozzle means you are going to decrease the volume. When the volume is decreased, the pressure increases. See how it is being said. The grout jet is in the form of a conical shape that is getting inside, and when this is being sprayed, what will happen? This particular grout jet will be fixing into the soil, and when this is fixing is taking place, what is happening? Whatever the soil mass that is nearby it will try to move up. There is a backflow. When this backflow is there, technique will be used in order to settle this particular soil. So here this grout jet technique is being used in this particular process. This is how actually it will be happening in the site. The next process what we have is double direct process. It operates with a grout jet of minimum 100 meters per second exit velocity for simultaneous cutting and mixing of the soil. This is same process how it will take place in single direct process. To increase the erosion capability and the range of the grout jet, edge shrouding by means of shaped edge jet nozzle is used. So what is that you are going to use? You are going to use some edge jet nozzle wherein you are going to send this air. The process is mainly used for panel walls, underpinning and ceiling slabs. So where do you use this double direct process? In panel walls, underpinning as well as ceiling slabs we use it. So we have a diagram also along with this. We'll just see this diagram. So the velocity of the grout is going to be one and the same. Only thing is, increasing the erosion capability, you are going to increase the range of jet air. or you are going to send some jet air through the nozzle. See the figure of double jet process, we have got two pipes, two nozzles we can say, wherein one is for air, the other one is for grout. So the technique remains the same, but only thing is when you are using air initially along with the grout, what will happen? The air tries to create an opening and this grout is getting filled into that opening. So this process, it will be effective when compared to your single or the before process, single direct process. Over here, since you have two openings, you are trying to create a jet of air. Along with the jet of air, you are going to send this grout. So both the things are happening. So the process will be one and the same. That is, when this grout is going to get settled, again what will be happening? It will try to send or densification of the soil, or it will try to alter the soil molecules. Everything remains the same. But only thing is, because the air is being added, you will have more amount of consolidation, compaction being done in this. So that is the main use of double direct process. So now let us go to the next process, triple separation process, how it will be done in the site. In triple separation process, what will be actually happening is, it erodes the soil with an air shrouded water jet of minimum 100 meters per second exit velocity. So what is happening? See, in the double process, we have seen that jet of air is being created, and along with that jet of air, this particular grout is moving or taking its place and then moving inside. But here in triple separation process, what is that? You are creating an air that is being eroding that particular soil. So erosion of the soil is taking place because of the water jet that is moving inside. Grout is injected simultaneously through an additional nozzle located below the water jet. Means you are creating a space first. You are washing that particular area using the water jet, and then you are allowing this grout to move inside. So both the processes continuously and simultaneously they are taking place. The grout pump pressure ranges above 15 bar pressure. So 15 bars, approximately above your 15 pascals or 15 bars, the pressure is there, and this is going on, taking place. Water jet is washing and pumping of grout is taking place. So there is settlement. The process is used for underpinning pinning works, cut off walls, sealing slabs, and is mainly used for the treatment of cohesive soils. See, over there in the compaction technique, in the initial process of grouting, compaction grouting, it was for non-cohesive soils, and this triple separation process, you are treating it only for the cohesive soils mainly. So here, first thing you are sending air. Along with the air, you are sending water. The water is creating an erosion of soil molecules, and when this erosion of soil molecules is taking place, you are sending this grout material with more amount of pressure. Pressure is along a scale of 15 bars. So when that much amount of pressure is being sent, what is happening? Sealing of slabs or sealing of that particular ground is taking place. So then what will be happening? The ground strength is increased enormously. So here mainly where do you use this technique? We are using this particular technique mainly for your cohesive soils. This is your triple separation process. So see the slide over here. In this slide you can see there is a grout jet, there is some air shredded out water jet, and from there you are trying to supply out this grout. So here all the three processes you are going to do it simultaneously. So one after the other you are continuously using this. What is happening? You have three pipes. it creates an erosion. In that created erosion particle, you are going to fill this jet grout. So both the things are happening simultaneously. What is happening? Air, it is trying to replace it with water. Water is again replaced by your grout. So this process is a continuous process. So air and water at one time they act, and the next thing it will be taken up by your grout. So there are three things happening. This generally sees that the soil property is enhanced enormously because there is a wash thing that is being created, there is some hole being created, and into that hole you are supplying your grout material. So all this enhance the strength or the capability of the soil, bearing capacity of the soil is increased enormously using this. So what are the applications of jet grouting? So the main thing is jet grouting can be applied for your cohesive soils. That is the first and foremost thing. The jet grouting technique is developed in 1960s. However, because of its unique properties, it is becoming quite popular in the civil engineering works. Its main applications are grouting of clay sill soils, which is not suitable for TAM grouting technique. So wherein you cannot use mechanical means, wherein you cannot use hydraulic means, in all those places we are going to use this jet grouting technique. Jet grout wall and roofs are used to reinforce tunnel portal excavation works. So mainly in order to have tunnel portal excavation works, we use this jet grouting. Sealing of windows of coffer dams. So wherever you have dams, coffer dams and all, over there also we can use this for sealing. Used as jet grout raft to reinforce coffer dam to limit its reflection and thus decrease the settlement caused by excavation works. So mainly in order to reinforce the coffer dam to limit its reflection and thus decrease the settlements caused by excavation works. In all those places we use this jet grouting technique mainly. So these are the applications of jet grouting. So with this we'll be ending this grouting chapter or the grouting part of this particular chapter, wherein we have seen today regarding mainly what is grout, what are the different processes of grouting, what are the different applications of grouting, and what are the different techniques of grouting, and for which type of soils we'll be using this. So with this we'll conclude for today the grouting techniques